Practical, tactical, and you. Hey everybody, I'm Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. In this video we're going to discuss a bunch of tactical stuff. Alright, a lot of the stuff we're going to be talking about today stems from training that I did this morning with my tribe. Lessons learned, I actually cover, if you're interested in training lessons learned, almost every single time we have training on Patreon. I do a training lessons learned video that you guys can join up on Patreon. It's $1 a month. I mean, it's well worth $1 a month. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos there. Most of them 100% exclusive on Patreon. Every once in a while I post them up here because I feel it's adding value to you guys here on YouTube as well. But yes, I do a training lessons learned, which is recap of lessons that me and or my guys learned from practical training out real world as we can make it training. So check us out on Patreon, become part of Team AP. Before I get in the video, I have to mention Jace Medical. Antibiotics and prescription medications shipped to you from their doctors. You got to check them out. Links in the description below. Coupon code asymmetrical10. Enough of that. Let's get to the video. The tactical stuff. Actually, while I'm on the tactical stuff, most of the stuff you see me wearing is Condor gear. Yes, I said Condor gear. But Condor gear is only for airsofters. Au contraire, no it's not. I've been running their rigs, their plate carriers for a lot of years, for what, probably 15 plus years. The only failures I had kind of just made sense due to the situation and stuff like that. I had no issues with their gear. If you want some good quality tactical gear that will not break the bank, check out Condor. Links in the description below, coupon code AP15. Just saying, it's good stuff. Let's get to the video. Training lessons learned from today. First, I will talk some of the stuff we recap. I'm not going to go over the whole thing because that's on Patreon. But the scenarios that we did boiled down into several key factors. And I'm not going to cover all of them here. If you want to see all of it, you got to go to Patreon. Because if I talked about all of it here, then they wouldn't be getting their value over there. But trigger control is very important. And your breathing is very important. Those are two things you gotta have down. A lot of people get caught up in bench rest shooting. Basically what I'm talking about is from a static position, going to the range and saying, okay, I'm a marksman. Whereas their practical accuracy is not really necessarily that good. And we see that every time we have training. And these are guys that get out there and train. They also train on their own. They take the time and put in the time to get better at this kind of stuff. And yet we still see it. We still see the same mistakes over and over and over because we're not professionals. We're not training on it 6 to 8 hours a day, every single day. We are guys, family guys, you know, we go to work, we take care of our families, and we train when we can, as much as we can, within practical applications of our lives. But we see the same mistakes over and over and over. First off, your weapon system has to be zeroed. Make sure that you verify it and that it actually is zeroed. And the biggest thing is that I want to talk about is we let speed become more of a factor than our accuracy. Accuracy should always come first. Always come first. With maybe one small little caveat of if you just got to dump rounds to get the heck out of there, okay, that may be a situation. But by and far, accuracy trumps rate of fire every single day. So don't get caught up on it. And people that train regularly still do. So unless you're training regularly, you're probably going to fall into this trap of trying to shoot too fast. If you're out there in a tactical training scenario and you feel that you're shooting slow, you're probably not actually shooting that slow. It just seems slow to you because you want to go so fast. So you have to mentally and physically force yourself to slow down. Slow hits are better than fast misses. Slow yourself down until you're making those good quality hits. And if you start making extremely accurate groups every single time, then you're going too slow. Then you need to speed up. And I'm talking engagement distances, 100, 250 yards, stuff like that. I'm not talking about precision marksmanship at distance, because that, you gotta hold those tight groups or you're not gonna be accurate. You're not gonna get those hits on targets. But practical 200-300 yards and closer, mainly around here, we train a lot at 50, 100, maybe 200 yards because we're in Western Washington. As you see, it's fairly dense around me. Do we also train further? Yes, we do. But you gotta train and slow yourself down enough till you're getting those positive hits every single time. Another thing I'd like to mention is, as far as training and the practical application of training so that it goes into real world scenario, getting along the lines of train the way you fight because you're going to fight the way you train stuff. We've all heard that before, those of us in the military have at least. Train with your full kit on all the time, every time you get a chance to. I'm not even in full kit right now. I have my battle belt on, I have my plate carrier on, I got my AR, got my helmet, got my ear pro, but right now for video purposes I'm not wearing my pack. But in training, you need to have your pack on, your plate carrier and or your chest rig, your battle belt if you're running one, if you're running anything on your belt or whatever you have on your belt line, and anything else. You need to make sure, one thing for sure, no matter what, you always have to have hydration on you. What I'm showing you on video right now, I don't have hydration on me right this second. That is only for video purposes. I always have hydration on me. Vitally important. You have to drink. You can go quite a while without eating food, right? We all know that. But that's what your admin pouch is for. You got a little extra calories in there, a couple power bars, something like that. Yes. And practical application of what you need to do this kind of training. Let's talk about that for a minute. For us, in our group, when we are running and gunning in team scenarios where we are moving in a squad, doing live fire, we require plates, at least level 3 plates, because we don't want any accidents happening, anybody else to get, really messed up. But you may not do that. What I say is definitely a mandatory item. You gotta have an IFAK. You have to have an IFAK. You have to have a primary weapon system. You don't necessarily have to have a secondary weapon system, but you need a primary weapon system. You need magazines for that primary weapon system. You need a knife. I put that up there as a need. And food, hydration, shelter. Those are needs. Talked about that recently in a video. We're not going to really go into that kind of stuff. Just want to reiterate a couple things. Do you need a ballistic helmet? No, you don't need it. Do you need plates? Not necessarily. But some of these things are advantageous to have. One thing I'd like to mention is in our group text chat, when whoever puts out the op horde for the training, they say full kit. Well, to me, it's kind of funny because I'm like, okay, full kit for what? Full kit for urban high threat CQB environment? Full kit for recce or reconnaissance patrol? Full kit for Minuteman reaction? Full kit for what? Because I have several different full kits. And if I'm wearing my helmet, my plate carrier and all this stuff, I don't want my long range patrol pack on with it because then I'd have too much weight. That's why I use my long range patrol pack in conjunction with my long range patrol chest rig, etc. You gotta have, if you want to be truly prepared and ready for a multitude of situations, you gotta have different loadouts for it. Now you could run chest rig over a slick plate carrier, and that way you have a chest rig, or you can run it with a plate carrier, like I said. like I talked about in the recent video. But you gotta have a pack. And I'm not gonna go into mandatory gear because I kinda skimmed over that in the last video. The biggest thing about training is that you get out there and do it. Funny thing is, when we were joking around today with the guys, they were talking about painting rifles. And I was telling them how I get comments in the comment section, whoa, how'd you get that cool looking paint job on your rifle? It looks all battle worn and stuff. That's because I actually get out and use my gear. Seriously. People are like, how do you get that cool look? Well, because I paint it, and then I go out there and I use my gear. I train in it regularly. I use it regularly. I LARP with it regularly so that I'm used to it. So that everything is muscle memory. I know where all my mags are, muscle memory, whether it be a primary mag or a secondary mag, whether it's my multi-tool, whether it's my pepper spray, whether it's my IFAK, whether it's my fighting knife, whatever. I know instinctually where it is if I was blindfolded or whatever. Anyway, get out there and train. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day, and blessings to you and yours.